Hey everyone, it's Hayes, and in today's video we're going to try and work out what will happen in episode 5 of Miraculous Ladybug season 4 PSYCOMEDIAN. And honestly, oh god, I know all season I've been like, where's episode 5? I want to see episode 5. Episode 5 is an urban legend. But now we've seen 2 trailers for it, I'm like, actually, that was a joke. Please take it away. If there is one thing in the world that I cannot stand, then it's second-hand embarrassment. It makes me want to throw myself out of a window. The worst case of second-hand embarrassment I can think of is Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. So the first 2 Spider-Man films, they're a bit cheesy, but I can handle a bit of cheese.
My gooiness.
However, in Spider-Man 3, Peter Parker gets infected. It's been a while since I've seen it, but he gets infected with this symbiote, which turns his suit black and makes the darker side of his personality come out. And as a result, he then proceeds to walk down the street like this. I very rarely cry at films, and it's usually because I'm sad, something sad happens. This was the first time I have cried because I was so embarrassed by something someone else did. I hate second-hand embarrassment so much. So I'm not sure how much I'll enjoy the opening of PSYCOMEDIAN, since it seems we'll get a lot of it where Adrianette is concerned. So let's start with rereading the synopsis. A famous comedian gets akumatized into PSYCOMEDIAN, able to impose any emotions on anyone. He wants to wipe the smiles off everyone's faces, starting with Ladybug and Cat Noir. So I think the episode starts here with Harry Clown in the bakery. He meets Marinette and for some reason she tells him about the boy she has a crush on because why not? I cannot think of a good enough reason as to why she'd tell him at all. He seems to be on his way out, having just bought a baguette as he has a show to do, so he's like, we'll meet later and discuss plans since for some reason he knows Adrian is coming to his show, okay, and Marinette heads to school. She then tells her friends about it in the cafeteria and we get a flashback to Gigant Titan and see the girls watching as Marinette completely messes up her chance to talk to Adrian. She's probably going to be like, hey, it's not going to be like this time, this is going to work, and she goes to meet Harry Clown. Now, I'm not sure if the plan is to make Adrian laugh or to get them talking or for Marinette to confess how she feels, but I'm trying not to think about this episode too seriously. It's quite obviously meant to be a filler, it's intended to be funny, I know. I'm trying not to take it too seriously, but I'm just unsure why Harry thought this would work. I don't know. So he gives Marinette a cowboy hat, a sheriff badge and a red nose, and she goes over to see Adrian. He's pretty happy to see her, as always, and Marinette begins her routine. And the second-hand embarrassment begins. So Marinette looks to Harry Clown for some encouragement and he's like, yep, you've got this, why aren't you stopping her bestie? Anyway, Marinette's hat falls off, is dramatic about it, and then they both bend down to get it and they bump their heads together. Marinette rubs her head and ends up with a red nose on because that makes sense, but she carries on when she really shouldn't have and squirts Adrian in the face with water.
Why?
Marinette realises, finally, that was a bad move and runs off pretty upset, and I genuinely don't understand what the goal even was here. Adrian, because he's Adrian, wants to comfort her, but Maurice says no and they go into the event. Harry finds Marinette crying and feels pretty bad for his plan going wrong, and as he waits in the dark for his show to begin, he gets akumatized. And not Marinette. Okay, now I am a little confused about his power. It seems he needs to be able to see your eyes, and the emotion he has on his face matches whoever he has under his control, and it seems to be triggered by him squeezing his nose. However, in a separate spoiler we see PSYCOMEDIAN without his nose, but he still gets control over Ladybug, at least I think so. Her eyes turn red, so it seems like that, but perhaps he can't maintain control if he has no nose. I'm a bit unsure right now. So he gets the crowd under control and they strangle each other. Fabulous. This show is appropriate for 8-year-olds and he leads them outside. Ladybug and Cat Noir arrive, of course, and PSYCOMEDIAN fights them, but when the crowd start heading for them, they escape onto the top of a truck. PSYCOMEDIAN joins them up there, so Ladybug and Cat Noir bounce, and she decides to do her lucky charm, and at this point I am thoroughly confused. So we have some spoilers where PSYCOMEDIAN doesn't have his nose, some where he does. We also got some shots where he makes eye contact with her and doesn't have the nose on, so I'm unsure of what long-term effects that that has on her. And we also have some shots of Ladybug with her eyes that are normal and then with her eyes painted onto her eyelids. Psychomedian's power is obviously related to eye contact, but it's confusing to work out what order these shots go in, because the shots where she has the eyes painted on and when she doesn't happen on the exact same street, so it's really helpful. I doubt it's a continuity error, they probably just go back to the street, but it is very confusing and makes things difficult to work out, but I'm sure it'll make sense when we see it. The other thing I'm unsure of is this shot of Cat Noir. He looks pretty scared, so I'm assuming something bad happened to Ladybug. It would be nice if he saves the day for once, but I doubt that will happen, and I guess in the long run it doesn't really matter all that much anyway. Since, we know nothing bad happens in this episode, we know they're going to save the day, the next episode is Furious Fu, we know everything's going to be fine. Psychomedian will air on Saturday at 9:05am Swiss time on RTS in French. I'd love to know what you think is going to happen in this episode, besties, particularly about what Psychomedian's actual power is, as well as what happens with Ladybug and painting on the eyes. I'm assuming the lucky charm is paint, although how do you paint on your own eyelids? Did Cat Noir do it for her? I don't know, like I said, I'm thinking far too much about this episode that is obviously not intended to be that serious. I should probably just, when the episode airs, just go with it. Have some fun. Try not to think about this episode logically, seems to be what we should be doing. I'd love to know what you think, besties, and I'll see you in the next one.